So lift your Bronco and it's going to behave a lot like Jack's hair on a leash, never straight. His back end's going to be to the left, his front's going to be to the right. 1 minute you're walking, the next he's in the neighbor's yard chasing squirrels and leaving his Yelp review on every mailbox. That's basically what the rear end's going to do if you lift your Bronco and you don't do some kind of track bar correction. It's never going to center. So today we're going to be discussing the options you have available, whether it's a relocation bracket, an adjustable track bar, both or neither. But by the end of the video, we're going to unbox the selection I made for the Bronco, so you're going to want to stay tuned. So welcome to Project Kehm. My name's John, and this guy right here, this is Jack. So today we're going to continue this ongoing series of the budget Bronco build. In our previous episodes, we covered the Bilstein 6-112 coilover lifts and the ICON upper control arms. The ICON correcting the front geometry, and of course the coilovers lifting the Bronco. But now we got to address the rear of the Bronco. So why don't we get out? I'll slide under the rear of the Bronco and I'll show you what I mean. So hi guys, we're under the rear end of my Bronco out here in the hot Arizona desert, so hopefully my camera doesn't shut down from heat. But I wanted to show you what the geometry looks like in the suspension on the stock Bronco Black Diamond before we even lift it. The bar right here is the track bar. On the left side over here it's connected to the body, over there it's connected to the axle. What happens when you lift your vehicle is this side's going to follow the body up as it's lifted. Well, that's going to stay right where the axle is on ground level. This is going to cause this bar to go at an angle. And what that's going to do is pull that axle over to the driver's side. That's going to give you a crooked stance. It's going to look funny because the back axle is going to be off to one side. No! This isn't good because it's going to cause sloppy handling. It's going to cause more stress on your joints and mounts, and it's going to give you uneven tire wear. So what we're going to do today is discuss your options to correct this and how we can get the geometry and axle back aligned. So stay tuned. Now I'm under my 2019 Jeep Wrangler. This is already lifted. I just wanted to give you a comparison of the track bar and how it looks after you lift the vehicle. In this case, it's bolted to the axle on this side, on the driver's side, and on the passenger side, it's on the body. And as you can see with the lift, this is at an angle. Now this does have an adjustable track bar, so I was able to center the axle, but I wasn't able to correct the geometry because I didn't address the relocation bracket. So I just wanted to show you what it looks like if you do it one way versus another way. I'm eventually going to drop in that bracket here as soon as I can. That'll probably be another video for the Jeep people out there. But just wanted to give you a little comparison. So here's why I care about this now. I'm getting ready to put in the Bilsteins, the 6-112s, the ICON upper control arms. And if I put these in, I need everything to work together. There's no sense doing that if everything's going to be out of whack. So we need to address that rear axle. So option one is a relocation bracket, and what that's going to do is actually lift the original mounting point up about, I want to say 2 inches, which is going to flatten out that bar and correct the geometry and shift the axle back towards center. And this works surprisingly well, especially on mild lifts. Now, it may or may not necessarily dial it in on its own, but it's an excellent starting point. The pros about this approach is it's a cheap option, typically under $100. It's an easy bolt-on install, and it helps your geometry get closer to stock, which means better handling. Now the cons is you're still going to deal with that stock track bar, which is kind of thin and flexy, and it's really not designed for larger tires and wheels or trail abuse. So yeah, it's going to correct the geometry, but you're going to be building on a weak foundation. So option two would be an adjustable track bar. This is going to replace that factory noodle with double wall tubing, beefier joints, and an adjuster sleeve. What that means is you're going to be able to dial in and fine tune that axle back to center after you lift the vehicle. So the pros is it's going to be way stronger than stock, less flex and more control, and it will let you dial in your axle perfectly, which means it's going to track straighter, which also means even tire wear. And it's a must if you're going to run larger tires and wheels. So the cons is it's not going to fix the angle on its own. Without a relocation bracket, the bar's still going to be at a steep angle, which is going to put a lot of stress on the mounts and bushings, which is going to result in premature wear. And it's also pricier than option 1, which is just using the relocation bracket. So option 3 I like to refer to as the combo move, which is going to be the relocation bracket and the adjustable track bar. And this really is the sweet spot if you want to do things correct. This is going to allow you to flatten out that track bar, which will correct your geometry, and it's going to allow you to fine tune your rear axle so you can bring it back to center so the Bronco tracks straight, and you end up with a setup that's both strong and properly aligned. So the pros is it fixes your geometry and the axle is dead on center and is strong enough for off-road abuse. And it's going to future-proof your suspension. So if down the road you want a higher lift or you want larger tires and wheels, you'll already be prepared for that. So the cons, probably obvious. It's going to be more expensive because you're paying for 2 parts instead of 1. And it's kind of overkill if you're just doing a leveling kit, or if you're just going to be taking this on the street and not using it off-road. But I'll say this, if you're going to lift, really, in my opinion, you should be correcting everything and trying to bring it back to as close to stock as possible as far as geometry is concerned, alignment, the whole works. It doesn't make sense to do it half-assed. And then option 4 is neither. And yeah, technically you could do neither. A lot of people lift their Broncos and they don't do anything. They just live with that crooked stance. But here's what you're signing up for. You're going to get uneven tire wear. The handling's going to feel off, especially on the corners. And you're going to be putting extra stress on those bushings and mounts, which means they're going to prematurely fail. So yeah, you can say it'll work, until it doesn't. So as promised, guys, we're nearing the end of the video. I told you we'd take a look at what I purchased, so let's go take a look. So here's what I did, guys. Obviously, looking at the 2 boxes, you probably deducted that I went with option 3. It just felt like the right thing to do. I'm not into doing it half-assed. I'd rather do it correct and not go over budget too much. And I think I did pretty good here, and we'll go over that a little bit later. But let's unbox this. So here it is, guys, the Fabtech bracket. It doesn't look like much, I realize, but it is key. I looked at a lot of brackets. Is one better than the other? Honestly, I really don't know. I mean, after all, it is just a bracket. I chose the Fabtech because it looks like it's stout and well made, and the fact that it's got extra mounting points, I don't know, it just felt like the right choice. And we'll find out. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I will let you guys know. So it's nothing fancy, really. It doesn't look like much, I realize that, but it is key, as mentioned before. It's a bolt-on design, although I think there's some drilling involved. It's got a simple powder-coated finish, but ultimately what this is going to do for me is it's going to re-angle the mount so that the track bar sits flatter. And that's going to mean less stress and better geometry. And of course, a happier suspension and a happier me when everything goes on. So Fabtech, they are known for their geometry correction, so that helped in this decision. So here we've got the ICON adjustable track bar. And no, I didn't buy ICON because I have the upper control arm. There was some actual thought and logic that went behind this. But looking at this thing, it's pretty stout. It is made of heavy walled DOM tubing, and it's got nice clean welds just like on the upper control arms, along with the rebuildable bushings just like on the upper control arms. So that's always a plus. But the main reason that I went with these ICONs is the fact that I can adjust these while they're on my vehicle. And this is big, guys, because when I put it on adjustable track bar on my Jeep, That was a hassle because I had to unbolt it to adjust it and bolt it back in and unbolt it to adjust it. And after 3 or 4 times of trying to dial it in, it became a hassle. So this is a lifesaver. This means basically that I can, once I install the Bilsteins, the UCAs, and the brackets are bolted in, I won't have to yank this thing back off just to recenter the axle. I can just dial it right there in the driveway, and that's big. This bar is actually designed for a 6th gen Bronco, so it's just not a universal piece. And paired with the Fabtech, with the geometry correction that I was after and the adjustability I wanted and feel is needed to get that axle back in alignment.
All right, guys, so here's a radar chart I put together to help you visualize the benefits of the different options. Notice how the relocation bracket spikes high on the geometry fix? That's because it actually re-angles the bar back closer to level. So for cheap, it really does improve handling. But look at the strength and future proof. They're almost flat. You're still relying on the skinny stock bar, and it's not going to hold up if you go bigger later. The adjustable track bar looks strong on the chart because it's beefier, but see how geometry still lags? That steep angle isn't going to go away without a bracket. But both together fill out the entire shape. Strength, geometry, future-proof. That's why it's the clear winner, even if the cost shoots up. And neither, well, that's basically a flat pancake. No geometry, no strength, no future, just crab walking for free. Alright guys, so because I like graphs so much, I got one more for you. This line graph makes it super clear, and you can see how each option stacks up across the key factors. The relocation bracket is cheap, and that's why the cost line is high. But look how low it is on strength and future proof. Basically, you save money now, but pay for it later. The adjustable track bar spikes high on strength, and is much beefier than stock, but the geometry still lags behind since the angle isn't corrected. Option 3, running both, is the only one that actually tops out in every category. Strong, corrected geometry, future-proof. Yep, the cost line is highest, but it's balanced everywhere else. Option 4, the flat line. Cheap but no benefits. Basically the don't do this option.
So there you have it, option 3 for me, the adjustable track bar and the relocation bracket. I know it's not the cheapest, but to me it was the smartest move. And I think it's gonna pull everything together. So I'm getting eager to do the install, and I'm hoping you guys will be there for that one as well. But before we get to that point, there's one more thing that we need to address that's gonna affect the overall stance of the Bronco, and that's gonna be the tires and wheels. So in my next video, we're gonna be looking at the sizes, the offsets, the wheels, the tires, what it is that I'm going to choose that's gonna tie all this together for my project. So you'll want to stay tuned for that one. So make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment. I'm curious to know if you guys went with the relocation bracket, the adjustable track bar, both or neither. I'm always interested to know what it is that you're doing. Jax, I'm gonna go have a beer. You get on the internet and start looking up tires and wheels.